So I just got finished with a job interview for an IT support technician role, and here's what happened. I was pretty confident in the interview, and I thought I was going to do well. I've spent a lot of time training and making sure I know what I'm talking about, working with Windows, how computers work, networking. I have some impressive looking projects on my GitHub. But I'll be honest, it's a lot more difficult than I thought. This is the first time I was ever interviewed by the hiring managers. Usually I get up to the recruiter and that's it. And in New York City is very competitive. So recruiters are constantly ghosting you anyway because they just have a plethora of applicants. They don't really need to respond to you if you're not the guy. But this time, I got called by a recruiter today at 12, and then I spoke to her. She asked me some simple questions. I knocked them out of the park. She asked me, what is an IP config? She asked me, what does DHCP mean? She asked me, what's the difference between RAM and ROM? And those are really easy for me. So I was like, yeah, I got this. By the way, if you don't know what those are pretty basic things. You need to know them. So I felt pretty confident going into this interview. Pretty simple IT support role. I'll be supporting an MSP and get on the call. Oh, the recruiter talked to the hiring manager and they wanted to meet with me the same day. So she called me at 12. They wanted to meet at 3. That I've never had that happen to me before. They wanted to meet me the same day. So I was pretty excited about it. I was like, wow, they must really be impressed or by my resume or whatever. So I get in the interview. Pretty cool guys. Seem like really nice guys, really great guys. And they seem very smart. And then they started asking me some questions and putting me in situations. And cat got my tongue, man. One of the questions they asked me was, a server runs a task every day at 2 a.m. and now it's not working. How do you troubleshoot it? And I said, well, I would probably check out the server if I have access to it, or maybe I'd secure shell into it. And then I would check the server manager control panel. Oh man, that was a terrible answer. Not because I wasn't in the wrong direction, but I felt like I didn't have a full grasp on it. Like, okay, we have an issue. I forgot to mention, I also said that I would probably try to get more information around the events surrounding when it stopped working, so I could come up with an hypothesis on what happened, and then from that evidence draw a conclusion, which is the right thing to say. You should say that, but I could tell they were expecting me to know something very super simple or some very technical solution, and I really got a cat on my tongue. A cat caught my tongue. Another question they asked me was, I have 2 machines separated by a VLAN, and there's a default gateway. One of the machines can communicate with the internet and another machine can't. I want you to troubleshoot that. I was a little thrown off by it because I think I don't understand what a VLAN is, because for what I thought that you can have 2 different virtual networks. These virtual networks are divided using subnet masking, and it didn't make sense to me that he said there's a VLAN in between them. So I just pretended like, okay, maybe I'm just overthinking this. Maybe it is exactly what I think it is. So what's the problem? The problem is one machine is having an issue communicating with the internet. Well, the first thing that sounds like to me is perhaps there's no public IP on the virtual network that machine is connected to. So I'd probably use IP config on that machine and see if the IP configuration has a public facing IP address, because there's a private IP and there's a public IP. A private IP is, imagine you're in a building and you want to get to a specific apartment in a building, then you have 1A, 1B, 1C, and then you have 2A, 2B, 2C, and then 3A, 3B, 3C. So those are what we call private IP addresses, because those are the addresses of the specific apartments in the building. But if you want to find out where the building is in New York City, then you need the public IP address, which we call the street address. So for those who don't know what the hell I'm talking about, that's what private and public IP means. So I gave that answer, and then I also said it could also be the DHCP server, which isn't giving the proper IP address. And then I thought to myself, maybe that's not the right answer. I don't fucking know. And I really felt the gap between what I understand and then what I know for certain. There was the lack of certainty in my explanations that was so apparent. It made me feel very nervous. And they're not throwing me a bone for nothing. Like, they're just looking at me and seeing, testing me, obviously, because they want to know how much I know. So going through those questions, I felt like, damn, I really fucked up. I don't know if I'm getting this one. There's another one that they asked me. Oh yeah, they asked me to shoot off a bunch of Linux commands, and all I said was ls and cd. Oh, and I have a project on my GitHub where I'm using Linux to implement a security control called least privileges. And because I did that project back in April or March, I don't really remember the Linux commands, because right now I'm studying Microsoft 365. I'm studying Microsoft Intune. That's what I'm focusing on right now. And I'm studying for Network Plus. So that's where I'm strong in right now, because that's where my mind is. I can tell you what a Saturn notation is. I can tell you how to subnet mask. I can tell you how to count in binary. I can tell you how to text the network connectivity between virtual machines, because that's what I'm studying now. But the basic stuff, I need to get more strong in that. So here are some of the things that I learned from this interview that I just did today. I mean, it literally just happened. Number one, always stay prepared. I was not prepared. I have been studying every day. I have been focusing on certifications. But the energy and where I've been studying has been focused on, let me get this certificate. Let me get this project on my GitHub, because I'm trying to look marketable. Because I want the HR to stop sending me rejection letters when I apply. I want my resume to look good. But in that pursuit of looking good, I haven't really built the depth on my skills. If you would imagine, it's like building a 2-inch hole a mile wide. It's a mile wide. Yeah, all these things, but if you're calling this a hole, it's only 2 inches. So this tells me I need to stay prepared. I need to make an Anki deck of all of those basic things that I should know and I've learned, but it's not at the tip of my tongue, where if you were to put me in a situation, I can just off the top of my head give you an answer. I don't really have experience, right? This is all hands-on training that I've done. So stay prepared. That is the lesson I really feel I learned today. I need to stay prepared. Stay prepared. Get prepared and stay prepared. And I feel like I'm hearing Will Smith talk to me in my mind, saying, if you're always ready, you never have to get ready. I'm feeling like Will Smith is talking to me. Another thing is prepping interview questions seems to be a very good idea. I didn't prep any interview questions. and that wouldn't really be that difficult, right? All I would need to do is take the job description and then ask ChatGPT to give me like 10 interview questions. That probably would have been a very smart idea. And that goes into preparation, right? Being prepared. Seemed like they expected me to know a little bit more about their company than I did, although I only applied yesterday night, and then I woke up to my phone ringing, the recruiter calling me, and then after the recruiter called me, I had another interview within 3 hours. So I didn't really have that much time to investigate their company, but it was definitely important to them. I can tell that they kind of expected me to know the services that the company provides, how long they've been around, and obviously it's a big company. I mean, the company is doing several billions of dollars every single year, even though I only heard about them today. So yeah, staying prepared, that's huge. So if you're watching this, I hope you're learning from me and with me. I'm gonna keep you guys updated on like everything that's happening with me. My goal is to apply to another 100 jobs this week, while I'm studying, but it feels to me like I need to kind of slow down in my studying. Instead of just trying to get it done, I really need to digest it. I really need to chew on it. Like, yeah, I know I'm smart, I can learn things super fast, but it's not just about learning, it's about comprehension. It's about understanding and then being able to repeat it to demonstrate that you understand. And I'm hearing a quote in my head right now that, from this guy and this famous scientist. His name is Sir Kelvin. He invented a measurement that allows us to measure temperature in outer space, and it's called Kelvin. And one of his quotes was, "If you can't explain it, you don't understand it," or something like that. And that's so true. So true. Somebody can't explain it. You can't explain your views. You can't explain your expertise. You can't explain your job. You can't explain how you can help. You don't really understand that. And that's where I'm like, okay. Yeah, that's where I need to improve, right? So, hope you learned something from this video. If you have any questions or any advice, leave a comment down below. By the way, I don't think that I messed up the job opportunity. In fact, we kind of talked about it. They were like, all four of us, because there was 3 of them wanted me, all 4 of us recognized, all right, there's a significant gap in this guy's technical knowledge, but obviously he doesn't have the experience. But it seemed like they were willing to work with me, and we'll see what happens. Those guys were brilliant. I can tell they were very smart. And yeah, if I hear back from them, great, and if I don't, that's okay. I think not getting a job right away the way I expected has really taught me so much. It's taught me so much. It's taught me the value of networking, because I thought, man, yeah, networking is important, but it's not that important. Networking is very important. And it's taught me to be serious, make sure I learn, make sure I really understand what I'm talking about, make sure I ingrain it. And it's not about impressing people, it's about knowing what you're talking about. Because at the end of the day, we're getting hired to manage and work on and troubleshoot these systems. And if somebody's going to trust us to do that, we need to know what we're talking about. We need to be able to convey that. Hope you learned something from this. Stay tuned, because I will be getting an IT support job. And from there, I will become a SOC analyst. And you're going to watch me do it. And if you want to do it with me, let's go ahead and do it. Check out this video I made on my channel called Breaking the Tech in 2024. I do a review of an IT support course. I recommend you take a look at that video, and you should get that course. I got a friend who just got a job, and he took that course. He graduated after me, and he's already got a job before me. And I'll tell you, that has a lot to do with the training that's in that. But it also has a lot to do with the fact that he doesn't live in New York City. So it's a lot more difficult in New York because there's just a lot of competition. You apply to a job and there's like 1,000 applications on the job already within 3 days. Seriously. But he's in Nebraska, so it's not as much competition, which is a great thing. So if you're not in a major city where there's a tremendous competition, you could really get a job within a month or 2 months if you work hard and apply yourself. So go and watch that video that I made, and it would support my channel if you use the affiliate link that I provided in the description of that. You'll get $50 off, and then I'll get a kickback for referring you to that. So with that being said, more videos coming soon. Thanks for listening. Leave me a like and subscribe if you want to know what tall, bald black guys do in their free time. Peace.